The chair is having great difficulty hearing the response from the minister due to other folks taking the floor. I'm also hearing the member who'd asked a question having difficulty even hearing in his earpiece. So I'm going to ask all members, please, to keep it down. The honourable minister from the top.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I do find it quite ironic to be lectured by the Conservative Party on support to farmers when at the end of last year they voted against On-Farm Climate Action Fund to support sustainable agriculture. They voted against Dairy Innovation and Investment Fund for farmers, Mr. Speaker. They voted against funding in support of dairy, poultry and egg supply management producers. On this side of the House, Mr. Speaker, we believe in our farmers, we support our farmers, and we help them to fight climate change.
Doesn't make sense.
The honourable member from Lethbridge.
Common sense Conservatives will axe the tax, build the homes, stop the crime, and fix the budget. That's what our commitment to Canadians is. Meanwhile, the NDP Liberal Prime Minister can't help himself but skyrocket the crime, increase the corruption, and of course he's just not worth the cost because he's causing it to go through the roof. But he's incredibly hypocritical because for him pollution is free. He can just jet set around the world while Canadians continue to pay. On April 1st, they'll see an increase of 23% on the carbon tax. My question is simple. Will the Liberals finally side with Conservatives and scrap the tax?
The Honourable Minister for Natural Resources.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I think the most appropriate question is, will the Conservatives actually look at the data? The data will tell you that 8 out of 10 Canadian families get more money back and that it is actually an affordability measure. If the honourable member would actually look at the research done by the University of Calgary, she would know that. But, Mr. Speaker, I think Canadians really need to understand that the Conservative approach to climate change is to let the planet burn. It is to leave an impoverished environment and an impoverished economy for the future of our children. Shame, shame, shame.
The honourable member from Lethbridge.
The contrast could not be more stark when it comes to the Liberals versus the Conservatives and their opposition to the Canadian people.
Once again, colleagues, the chair could not hear the question being asked by the honourable member, and that honourable member is actually close to the chair. The honourable member from Lethbridge, from the top.
It's shameful that my colleagues across the way would clap for a 23% increase in the carbon tax when Canadians are lining up at the open in insurmountable numbers. Millions of Canadians cannot afford to put food on their tables, and these folks over here stand and clap. That is shameful. When will they grow?
Grow up.
You can call them to account.
Mr. Speaker.
You can call them to account. You can call them to account.
So time has come awfully close to the end of the honourable member's question. I'd like to reassure the honourable member the chair nor the table had heard a comment that was unparliamentary. So this is why it is very important to all members. Colleagues, it is very important for members to not comment while a member has the floor. The recognized member has the floor. I'm going to ask the honourable member, please, to restrain himself while I try to give an explanation to all members. As I was saying to colleagues, is that it's so important for us to keep our voices down and to restrain ourselves while... I'm going to ask the honourable member once again to please, and ask him, please follow the good example of his whip and restrain himself while this chair is talking. It is so important for colleagues to be quiet so that the chair can hear the question, and if on occasion that members say something that is untoward or unparliamentary, that the chair or the table can hear that comment to making sure that things happen within an appropriate parliamentary tone. The honourable member from New Brunswick Southwest.
You didn't get an answer.
I'm terribly sorry. The honourable member, the honourable minister, to resign. So, again, I'm going to ask all members please restrain. So I'm going to give the honourable member from Lethbridge 10 seconds to put her question left, if she chooses to exercise that, to allow 10 seconds left to ask her question. Would the honourable member from Lethbridge like to have those 10 seconds?
Really?
Mr. Speaker, the minister across the way had something to say to me before. Perhaps they'd say it on the record. The Honourable President of the Treasury Board.
Mr. Speaker, on this side of the House, we agree that the contrast could not be more stark.